So, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess cat has some astoundingly scrumptious characters in it. Oh my god. Love Minna. Simp for her every day of the week.
Which version,
especially post
though?
definitely the like post game or like end of the game version.
Yeah,
I love
the
it.
reveal is just
Yeah.
chef's kiss.
Oh yeah, 1000%. What about you? Who do you simp for in this game?
I mean, I kind of had to go with Wolf Link. Like, he has earrings in his ears, and he's just like, he's such a little cutie.
Furry allegations are, she's not fighting them. She's not fighting them, guys.
Hey everybody, welcome to Games.
Hey, also, you know, we have
Guess
a gift
what?
card giveaway.
What do you
going
have to
on
do
right
for
now.
it? What do you got to do for it, Fuse?
We got to get this video to 20 likes, and you could possibly
20?
get a $10 gift card from Nintendo. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, because only
That
hot
was-
people do that.
Welcome everybody to the Boost View Podcast. Here on the Boost View Podcast, we like to talk about Nintendo games, new and old, give them a review, and maybe a look back in retrospect. Today we are in the middle of our Zelda series, and we're talking about the game, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. But before we get into that, my name is Favlam.
Hi, my name is Gabe, or Excellion96, and this is the greatest Zelda game ever.
I am Short to Fuse, aka Fuse.
And today we have a lovely guest with us. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Kat.
I am Little Cat.
Hi, Kat. How are you doing?
Hello.
I am so good, you guys.
Are you ready to talk about the greatest Zelda game ever?
Yes!
Yes!
Is this your favorite, Gabe? Like besides like I know Breath of the Wild's like, or Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are probably your favorite, but
Oh
like
my
is this
gosh.
your favorite besides those?
Breath of the Wild
Oh,
definitely
no.
made me sob.
This is
I
This
know.
was my like first introduction to Zelda.
Mhm.
So it definitely holds a huge nostalgic love for me.
Yeah.
So it's definitely up there and like one of my top favorite games of all time.
That's kind of like what happened, you said, with Skyward Sword for you, right, Austin? Because you're kind of going through not super video gaming.
So I played this game. I played Twilight Princess, and I didn't. I think I was just like a year or two early to it because I just couldn't figure out some of the puzzles or something. I think it was like the beginning area, like the fishing and stuff. Like it's
Oh,
really
yeah.
game.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but I couldn't get through that. And then when I got, which is ironic because Skyward Sword's intro is like even worse, but I enjoyed it a lot more. But and then I came back to this game immediately after Skyward Sword, and I loved it. I loved every second of it. It was,
Hell yeah.
It's amazing. So yeah, this was also technically my intro to the series as well. But I Skyward Sword is what made me fall in love with the series. This one was just this was like the, you know, when you consume a piece of media that you like really really love, and then you just finish it, and you're like trying to fill that hole.
Yes.
Yep.
With like
Yes.
something else.
Please.
That's what Twilight Princess was for me.
Yep.
And it wasn't that it was bad. Like it filled that hole great. It was awesome. But it just was like, you know, it was the I can't find something as good as this was.
Dude, that's gonna be me when I finish Tears of the Kingdom's like main story, which I'm pretty close to.
Oh yeah.
I'm getting.
it's been a month, Gabe.
I honestly would be okay if we do another episode on Tears of the Kingdom.
I'm cool with that, too.
Once we're all like, because we'll be all
Yes.
finished with it. Yeah. Anyway.
Yes.
Fuse, you have played this game technically.
Yes,
So how
I
did you
have.
play this game for the first time?
I hated it. I despise
Yeah, that's valid.
that game so much.
The intro is rough in this one. I mean, the intro.
That's
That's
why
like
I
this
felt
is like
so
one of the.
bad. I was like, Gabe was like, this is my favorite game of all time. I was like, I'm
Oh,
gonna
dude,
me and Gabe are
I
not
don't
gonna
blame
be
you.
friends after this. Oh,
I
no.
Yeah.
I don't blame you.
How
Listen,
No,
long
the
into it
intro's
did you get?
definitely
All right, so
Yeah.
reminder, this is like 20 years ago, less than that, maybe.
20 years ago? Wow.
Maybe.
Okay.
When did the
something
GameCube
like
come
that.
out?
When did the game come out?
Oh yeah, because
For
it was the
GameCube.
GameCube version that you played.
the game came out almost
Yeah.
20 years ago. It'll be 20 years in 2026.
All right, I'm 31 right now. I think I was 11 or so.
So like
maybe
17 if you want to.
so
be
like or
exact,
so
but yeah.
maybe. But 17 years ago, that's when it came out. So I was
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
about 12 or 13 when it came out. And I played it. I remember fishing off a cliff and we caught some fish. And then for whatever reason, I guess I don't remember this part. All of a sudden, I'm waking up in a cell and I'm a wolf. And I didn't remember anything beyond that point. So I'm like, what happened from A all the way to fucking Z? Like, what happened to me? Because this was my first introduction to Zelda as general. So I don't know the backstory of what everything else has happened before.
Right.
So I'm like, okay. Because my dad played all the old Zelda games. And he was like, yo, just try a game. Look, I got you a GameCube. I know you want to play Super Mario Sunshine when that comes out, but I need you to play this game just to try Zelda because I like it so much. I'm like, okay, fine. Shall be cultured. And I gave it a gentleman's like 4 or 5 hours of gameplay. Puzzles. This is when I first discovered I hate puzzles. Like puzzles are just terrible. So like, you guys have like a favorite spot for this that you all introduced into this.
Between me and you, Fuse, I love puzzles.
Yeah, see,
I hate puzzles so much.
I didn't realize you hated puzzle games.
Why can't I just bash the puzzles and just go forward with a giant sword in my hand through simple fence? Why? Why can't I just break a fence with a sword? It bounces off. That's not mechanics.
Yeah.
There's like a door that's locked in Fallout, you know, like in the Fallout games, and it's like expert difficulty. It's like, bro, this is like a destroyed wooden door. Just kick the door down. You don't. What is stopping you from just bomb it? Use a grenade or something. I don't know.
Don't they have mini nukes in Fallout? Like,
literally, they do.
They do. Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
they do.
Well, Fallout is in like post-nuclear war.
It is. Yeah, and
exactly.
I need to play.
I mean, it is a Fallout. I mean, it fell off, dude.
Right.
Literally, like a literal Fallout.
No, this game's intro is definitely one of the rougher ones. It's up there with Skyward Sword's intro.
Yeah.
But as Fuse says, it kind of goes from 0 to 100 real quick. You're herding sheep, and then maybe an hour later, you're like a wolf.
I'm a wolf running around in a prison. I'm like,
frick is going on?
Did he transform into the wolf?
And I get that the whole prison. Yeah, and I get that the whole prison sequence is supposed to be like a intro to the Wolf Link and like his mechanics and whatnot, and they do it pretty well for the most part. But it intrigued me at the very least. I was like, whoa, what the fuck? What's going on? Because I would say to most people who are doing this game, if you can at least get to the part where you turn into Wolf Link, and if you still don't like it, then yeah, all right, yeah, drop it. But if you can get to that and then you want to play it, then yeah, keep going. So there was, as we've kind of hinted at already, we kind of mentioned in passing, there are 2 versions of this game, technically 3. There is the GameCube version, which was the original version that came out in 2007? Six. Then a year later or 2 years later, there was a version released on the Wii that the entire map, it was so interesting how they did this problem. So Link is originally left-handed in like all the older games, and most people are right-handed in the world. And when they remade this game for the Wii, they were like, "Oh, let's flip the world. We need to put the sword in Link's right hand instead of his left hand." So instead of like coding Link to do whatever, they literally just like
it's
flipped
just a
the view of the world.
flip.
They mirrored the entire world, and Link had his sword in his right hand because of that, and because people use the Wii remote in their right hand and whatnot. So that happened, and then there was an HD remake on the Wii U, which I really wish they would bring to Switch, but whatever. It's a great version. I have that version as well. I have the little amiibo back there.
You got the music too, little music.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Wii U version I think came out on the 10th anniversary.
It did, yeah.
Correct.
2016.
So we have that version as well. That version does actually have, there's some quality of life improvements. So the Wii and the GameCube version are essentially the same, minus the world flipping.
The mirroring, the Mario Kart mirror mode.
Yeah. The Wii U version is different. Like so it has upscale graphics, HD. It has some quality of life improvements. Like with the gamepad, you can switch between Wolf Link. There's like a point in the game later on where you can, like, you're supposed to be able to switch between human and Wolf Link kind of fluidly, and you can do that. It was kind of a bitch to do it in the older games where you'd have to talk to Midna, go to the option menu, do the thing. But in the Wii U version, it was literally just a button. You pressed it once and you swapped. It was pretty good.
You can climb faster on vines.
Yeah, so
ladders.
yeah, climbing was faster, ladders that kind of thing was faster because there's no stamina bar, so it was like, what's the point? Why are you trying to make this like longer?
Right.
They also added these stickers that you can, or stamps, I think that's what it is. There's stamps in every dungeon now. There's like things you can collect in every dungeon.
Those were
There's
cute.
Also then there's also like a hidden like bonus dungeon if you got the amiibo. I think that's how you access it. If you have the amiibo, you have like there's like another dungeon that you can do that you have to like work your way through, and you can actually, it was really cool. You can like do it kind of gatekeeps you by like the dungeon items that you get throughout the game. Like this is the more we'll talk about, like I'll do traditional Zelda. This is a more traditional Zelda in the terms of like there's items you get in each dungeon that kind of progress you the ability to like proceed through the dungeon. And that there was a way they like kind of did that, like limited you in that one dungeon where like, oh, you would get to like X amount of floors deep and you could only do so much, you know, and oh, you didn't have the top, so then you couldn't proceed through the dungeon. Anyways, so that's those versions. Let's just talk about like, so what are some of y'all's like favorite parts of the game? So we have like the story of it, you know, with you turn to Wolf Link, you need to save Princess Zelda from the Twilight Realm, and because Zant, I think it's his name,
yes,
Zant,
Zant.
has taken over the Hyrule Castle and is imprisoned the people there. So but yeah, anyways, what are y'all's thoughts on that? Have we noticed any differences between the two versions, and then what are some of y'all's favorite bits of the game? We'll start with Kat. Go for it.
So full disclosure, I never owned a GameCube growing up, so I only played the Wii version growing up. And then most recently I played the Wii U version. Child. Okay.
Show the child. Show off the child.
I
Show off
will.
the child right now.
Come here.
We have a whole segment. We have bits in every episode where people show off the kitties.
Oh, it's an Oreo.
Oh,
It's Oreo.
Look at him.
what's their name?
This is Smudge.
Smudge.
Hi,
I
Smudge.
love him.
I smile.
He's so fat. I love it.
He's
I love
not
him.
that fat. He just has a big pooch.
Oh yeah, my mom calls that a hernia because she's like a big nurse. She's like a nurse, and I'm like, Mom, that's not a hernia. It's a hernia. I'm worried. What if she has a hernia? I'm like, it's not a hernia.
You like Obi? Yeah, he's just a long boy.
He's a lot. Yeah. That's how Yoshi is. Yoshi has the flappy hernia as well.
Yeah.
It's called a primordial pouch. That's like the official term.
Primordial pouch.
My
It's
sister
the
growing up would
same
always
thing from-
my sister growing up would always call those cats cow
Insect.
cats. Cause
Cow
Yeah,
Yeah,
we call him
yeah.
our little cow man.
Oh,
We call him
I
our
love
little
that.
cow man.
Oh man. So what else about this game? So you never owned a GameCube, and what else about that?
Yeah, so I
Cat?
never owned a GameCube, so I only played the Wii version. Sir. Okay, I have to take care of him
He
really
straight up
quickly.
swiped.
I have to take care of him really quickly because he's not gonna be.
He's not gonna
He's
chill
not
out.
gonna- I'll be
not
right
gonna
Go
back.
do your
calm
thing.
down.
We'll continue the podcast.
Yeah.
So, so for anybody else who doesn't know, I'll kind of explain the difference between traditional and like new Zelda. So, new Zelda, like Breath of the Wild, is very different from the traditional Zelda because these are kind of like like Skyward Sword and Twilight Princess are kind of the first ones to do that. Where traditional 3D Zeldas kind of take the Ocarina of Time approach, where they're pretty linear. They have like a set order in which you do all these things and you hit these story beats. Versus like there are parts that you can explore and look at different things, but these are ones where it's like, okay, you need to go and do you need to do A B C D E F G before you can get to H I J K. You know, all that jazz. So yeah, the GameCube and Wii versions are interesting to me because get the mirror world, and I never knew about that until like way later because I also, like Kat, had only played the Wii version growing up, so I was like, oh, this is fine. And then I think I was on Twitch like a few years later and I saw somebody playing the GameCube version and I was like, what?
Oh my
Why is
goodness.
it all flipped? Or I was looking at a walkthrough on something and I saw that's what it was. I saw that they were playing on the GameCube and everything was all flipped and I was like,
Why is Kakariko on the right side? What is this?
yeah, I was like, what's going on? Because I was looking up how to get through like there's like the very end Twilight Realm place where you like, before you get to Zant.
The palace,
And I was
yeah.
like, something there was confusing me, and so I looked it up and I was like, why is everything flipped around? What's going on? Gabe, what about you? What else do you have? Do you have any comments on that?
So another funny story. Growing up, me and David, we had a GameCube. You know, we got a GameCube for Christmas a couple years prior to this game, but there was this local game store. It wasn't GameStop. We didn't have GameStop in our town yet, back in, you know, like Nam or whatever. And we got
back in Nam.
back in Nam. But
Back in
right. No, but like, you know, back in like 05 or something like that. And
Yeah.
we bought the GameCube version of Twilight Princess. But the problem is, you would launch it. Sometimes it would say can't read the disc. Other times you would get to the opening scene with what's his name talking about, you know, hey, they say during a certain point of dusk in Twilight, you know, two realms are closest to each other, you know, ours and the Twilight or whatever. And then it would say disc is unreadable. And me and David would try for days and days. And we were like, it's not working. And then we were just like, we told our parents that it was a local game store that was like, oh, all trades are final, no returns or whatever. But my mom went in and she was a mom. She's like, this isn't working. And then the person was like, oh, okay, you can return it. And I was like, thanks. But so whatever.
Please,
fast forward.
give me another one.
Please. Fast forward a couple years, the Wii comes out. We finally get our Wii, probably like a year and a half late. But there was this one day, Mom took me and David to Walmart. I got Metroid Prime 3, loved that game. David got Twilight Princess for the Wii, and we were like, hell yeah, this is cool. So, you know, he played first. He got all the way to the jail cell with, you know, Wolf Link. After, you know, the very first time playing through this game, it will take you probably hours to get through that opening segment. Now I can beat that shit in 30 minutes because how many fucking times I've played through it. Oh my god, it's literally just like muscle memory at this point. But I did enjoy the opening. I'm a very like immersive, adventurous, you know, outgoing kind of person. So I completely understand why it's grueling to a lot of people, especially on their first playthrough. I completely understand that sentiment. But I didn't mind it myself. It can get a little tedious here and there. It feels like you're doing chores sometimes. But it was inoffensive to me, I guess, is what I'm saying. And it was very homey. I love how homey Ordon Village is. It's such just a nice place, and just yeah, it was
really good too.
Yes, it's so good. But overall, I mean, especially the Wii U version. I got that on launch day too. I got the whatever edition with the amiibo. I didn't even ask for that. I was just like, hey, I'm here to pick up the game. He's like, oh, here you go. The full box.
They like. Yeah, I think most of those editions were sold with the amiibo. Like, I think it was just packaged in. So
yeah,
on the
cool.
Wii U.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. And I liked it because the Wii version was the Mario Kart mirrored, you know, of the map. So playing the Wii U, obviously it wasn't a different game, but it felt a little different because of the map being 180'd. So it was fun.
Was the Wii U version the original? Like was it?
It was
It was flipped back.
It was flipped back.
Yeah,
and then
the Wii U is flipped back.
You can do hero mode, and then it'll flip it again to like the normal Wii, not the normal, but to the Wii, you know, mirrored. So that's it's very weird how it's going on.
It's a cool that's a cool like feature though.
And then one final thing about the Wii U version, I mean, I loved it. It was one of my most favorite like games of all time, Twilight Princess. But the Wii U version with the palace or the Cave of Shadows or whatever it's called with the amiibo.
Yeah, the bonus dungeon.
Yeah, the bonus dungeon. I think it's cool how you can, you know, they implemented that into Breath of the Wild. The more hearts you had at the end of the Cave of Shadows, the more your Wolf Link will have in Breath of the Wild. That was awesome.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I literally have the full 20 hearts Wolf Link on Breath of the Wild, and I'm like, yes!
That's awesome. That's so cool.
It was cute, and Wolf Link is kind of OP a little, you know, like you just feed him some meat if he gets hurt, and he's good, you know. Yeah. But I didn't hate it, but I thought it was weird how they spent a lot of time creating the well, I don't know if it was a lot of time, but they spent dev time creating the Cave of Shadows just to kind of gatekeep it behind an amiibo, and I'm like, it's like. Those poor devs that spent a lot of time to make that, they just kind of like, only some of you can play what we just spent time on.
When I think like when 90% of the copies that were sold, like, and it didn't cost any additional money. Like when you had the Wolf Link amiibo version of the game came out. Like I think that was like one of the times where they released the amiibo in the game. It was still all 60 bones.
I'm just I'm thinking more of like people ahead of that, or
No, I get that. Like people who are either buying it digitally or they bought it or they bought it like
later down the line.
Later down the line. Yeah, that does suck. And if you don't have that, it's like a content in the game that you can't unlock unless you get the amiibo itself, or you buy like one of those things on Amazon, little tag,
one of the cards,
tag things.
yeah.
Oh yeah, the little card.
I need
yeah,
to
the
buy
cards,
a set of cards because those are so awesome.
How much does this bad boy go for now? Isn't it like $80 or at least it was like a year or two ago?
It's more than that. It's like in the hundreds.
Jeez.
Mine will go for 200 because it's been in my mouth for pop figure review.
Oh my
Thanks,
God,
Griffin McElroy, for that inspiration for that bit.
Is that the? Oh my God, is that the Flam mouth wolf link amiibo?
It's like it's got a saliva on it. Anyways, so story of the game, kind of mentioned that earlier. So the story is you turn into a wolf. There's Twilight Realm. You're trying to save the Twilight Realm. There, you go to all these different places and cool things through the game. There's lots of cool set pieces. There's a Zora. There's a Goron. There's no Kakariko, or there's no like the wood people. There's like monkeys. There's there's
no Koroks or anything.
Koroks?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no Korok. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
There's no Koriko people.
There's no Karibo. Where's Karibo?
Yeah. So there's none of that.
Karibo in attack mode.
There's monkeys in the forest, which are they got big booties.
They have big butts.
Really funny.
Big booty monkeys.
The one boss is like slapping his ass at you. It's so funny. So there's all that, and then you move further down the game, and of course I think my favorite dungeon, unironically, is the one where you use the top in the desert. Like
Arbiter's Grounds.
Arbiter's Grounds.
Yeah, that's a really
dungeon.
cool dungeon.
That one's incredible.
I just remember. Yeah, I just remember that having like a lot of really cool puzzles, and then I thought the top was really stupid when I first got it, but they really execute it really well. Like they make it feel really fun to use in like really clever ways. And I was like, oh, okay, this is actually super fun. That dungeon, and I think I enjoyed your stream when you were doing this, Cat, the sky dungeon, when you have the double claw shot.
The city in the sky is insane. It's definitely it has one of my favorite boss fights. For sure.
Yeah, the boss fight's sick. The boss, isn't it just a giant dragon?
It's like Red Eyes Darkness Dragon. It's so cool.
It's a giant dragon, and there's a thunderstorm that's happening, and you have to climb to the top of these pillars and like
not the Raigeki.
Like run around in the sky, and it's crazy.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And how you weigh them down with the boots. I love when when boss fights, like, yes, they use the dungeon item, but then they also use like
previous
separate
items before it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's so fun. I love I wish we got more of that with this game. Just a little bit more.
This game, I think it does. I think it has some of the best like set pieces, like 1000%.
Yes.
Like I think, and then another dungeon that comes to my mind that I think is like one of my favorites of all time is the winter ice castle with the little Yeti
Snow Peak
people.
Ruins.
Oh yeah, Snow Peak Ruins.
Yeah, that's
Peak
such
Ruins
a great dungeon.
As a dungeon is incredible. I'm not a huge fan of the boss fight. I think that boss fight's kind of forgettable, but the dungeon itself is so unique to Zelda.
Yeah, it's like the way that you proceed through it, where you're just grabbing like ingredients. It's not like a normal dungeon where you're just like, oh, getting keys and whatever. It's like, oh, I'm just getting the ingredient, bringing it back to them, and then that causes it's such a cool way they've done it. Yeah, what are some of y'all, Gabe? Tell us about some of your favorite dungeons and whatnot in this game. I mean, you can even repeat what I said. But
no. I mean, I think I mean, it sounds like the three of us have very similar opinions. I mean, Arbiter's Grounds. I mean, it has Arbiter, from Halo. you guys familiar with Halo?
Halo.
Arbiter's Grounds, one of my favorite. One, because Gerudo Desert has an amazing theme, which you'll be hearing later during the music segment. Two, it is creepy. It is demonic. It is. Don't play it by yourself. It's scarier than like fucking any of the other horror. I swear that is one of the creepiest temples I've ever played in like a video game ever. The theme is a little kind of. I mean, I get what the theme is supposed to just kind of be like background ambiance, whatever, just kind of creepy, whatever. But the boss, I mean, the mini boss is like a demon with a huge sword, and then like the boss itself, that weird Stalfos Stalord, I think his name is. Oh my god, and the roller coasters you do at the top, that's so fun. Oh my god, I love that. And just the whole like army of the undead in there is one of just the coolest places. But
it's very cool.
One of the best things about Twilight Princess.
I want to replay Twilight Princess now.
I know, I do too, man. I'm like thinking it was
I'm like getting in. I haven't played it in a while, so I'm like maybe that'll be the next stream game. Anyways, continue.
We so this game obviously is a lot more like gritty and more like realistic, you know, obviously it's one of those things where people are like, oh, the graphics didn't age as well, and I'm like, I get it, yeah, because they went for more like a realistic like visual approach. And I mean, honestly, I still respect it. I still think it looks good enough to like not ruin like, you know, the immersion and like the fun.
I gotta say, I have to disagree with the graphics didn't age well. I think they aged fairly well compared to so many other games out there.
Yeah.
And I
especially
really,
the HD.
It really doesn't offend when I play it. I don't have any issue. I'm not like nothing pulls me out of the immersiveness of the world.
Exactly. And especially with the HD version, because that being that touched up and smoothened out, like it's timeless for me.
The HD version is gorgeous.
It is. Yeah.
1000%.
And because of like that more realistic approach, I mean, you know, that helps like with more like immersive atmospheres and like the tenseness of like battles and different dungeons and just the set pieces. Like I am literally in the sky right now with these weird tiny chicken people that are apparently the ancient Hylians, you know, like from ancient Hyrule. The Ukus, the little ugly chickens. Like,
I love them so
ugly.
much.
So weird.
They're ugly cute. They're like a pug, you know. They're like ugly cute.
Exactly.
They're just little titty chickens.
Yeah, the fact their titties just be straight out is wild.
Oh, and also the lake bed temple. Water temples.
Yes,
we all
I was
know
gonna say
like
the lake bed temple is incredible.
It is incredible, and that boss, and that's like when Midna's lament happened. Oh my god! And just the one dungeon that I'm not the biggest fan of is probably the Goron mines, and that's because of the boots. You have to walk.
Yeah,
how slow
I
it is.
I remember that one specifically because of how long it takes to fucking walk around with those boots and just treading upside down, and you accidentally press backwards because it's like, you know, the controls are like flipped a little bit.
Yeah,
and you're like,
no.
fuck, go back the other way, Link.
No.
Yeah. God, that's the only dungeon that's like, all right, come on now. But the dungeons in this game are really memorable. Like the way you're like we're like going through these, I'm like, oh yeah, that was a good one. Oh yeah, that was also
You
a
go
really good one. I remember this
snowboarding
one.
to get
This
down
is
to
great.
the snow peak, bro. And
That was so sick.
Fairy haunted castle, fairy ruins, whatever. And the Temple of Time, and you're in the forest. You're playing with
Temple
Skull
of
Kid.
Time is so beautiful. How they introduce that temple to you is like, it's so ethereal, and you really feel kind of like the hauntings of the previous time, and it's so just phenomenal.
It feels like a dark. I don't know if you guys. I know.
Yes,
Austin,
I was
you
gonna
play
say
dark.
it pulls a lot of like Soulsy, Dark Soulsy, FromSoft, dark fantasy, high fantasy themes.
Yes, exactly. It's stuff like that. And
the freaking what is it? The puzzle with the two guards. That puzzle.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate that one. I'm sorry, I hate that one. I always Google that one. I am not a fan of those kinds of puzzles.
How do you do this? Because you can do it in like 3 moves, but if you fuck it up, it takes you like a year to like solve it.
Yeah, if you fuck it up, it's game over.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, all right, well, how do I fix this from here?
Good. Love the set pieces, man.
The one dungeon that I wish had more content to is the Palace of Twilight. I felt that one was really quick.
True.
I really wanted there to be more to the Twilight realm, because I was super excited when I got there, but it felt like it.
The hand.
I know the ultra
coming for you.
Hand,
it's gonna get you.
I wanted more. I wanted more from that.
Right.
That felt too quick to me.
Yeah, no, that's valid.
Oh, and I have one more thing to say. I'm sorry. I'm just gushing and gushing.
Please, gush. That's the whole point of this podcast.
Right? So another common thing with this game is, it's a little too easy. And, you know, yes, I agree. Some of the boss fights are kind of like pathetically easy, but I'm not playing a Zelda game for like the hardest experience. And I know that's not what people are asking for. They're not asking for Elden Ring or, you know, legendary all skulls on difficulty for Halo, you know, that kind of stuff. But I mean, for me, Zelda boss fights, especially in Twilight Princess, because of that more realistic, just, like immersive kind of experience, it's all just like, it's the theatrics of it, man. I'm fighting this lake bed temple. There's up against all odds. I'm swimming. I am in this guy's domain, but I still somehow come up on top. And when you're doing like the final strike and it's the that music, and I'm like,
that's a good theme.
Yeah.
I think a good example of that in a modern game, Twilight, or Kat, have you how much Tears of the Kingdom have you played?
I have only done the Wind Temple.
Okay,
so
far. I've been going through it super slowly.
That's fine. That's exactly what I was going to reference. So if you haven't played the Wind Temple, please check out now. Skip to the 10 seconds. I was going to say a perfect example of that, of the boss fight being technically easy, but a great spectacle would be the Wind Temple, because like the Wind Temple boss, it's not necessarily hard or it's not easy, but it's like once you figure it out, it's more of like it's a puzzle in itself. You figure out the puzzle and then it's like, okay, boom, boom, boom. But it's like such a cool spectacle, and the music, and it's just a cool like way to like do that boss fight. And I think that's what a lot of Zelda boss fights are. Is it's like, okay, it's a puzzle. It's more of a puzzle of figuring out how to hit the boss rather than say like Elden Ring or whatever, where it's a challenge to survive long enough to beat the boss.
Yeah.
In this and Zelda games, when the puzzle is super easy to beat the boss, I think that's what makes a really bad boss fight in a Zelda game. Yeah. When it's just shoot its eye and it's gonna be down for a few seconds, you can whack it. That's always a really lame way to do that. Right. But when it's like the top temple, like, or the temple where you're spinning up with the top, and you have to spin, and you have to jump back and forth before the boss gets to you, and then you can finally hit it, and you have to do all these things. You have to do XYZB to get to the part. Oh, okay, now I'm hitting it. I find that way more interactive and way more fun in Zelda games, and I think that's like the key to a good Zelda dungeon boss fight. Because it's not exactly difficult per se, but it's a puzzle that you're solving.
The main purpose is definitely how well can you utilize your environment to your advantage.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, and I
find your heart pieces. That's the fun difficulty is, where are all the heart pieces? Where I want to get the stupid rupee armor. I want to listen to Mallow Mart's theme. The final Mallow Mart.
Yeah.
But which, speaking of music, I'm gonna do that.
No, we'll get there. We're almost there. But yeah, no, like even in the last game, the we talked about the Ancient Cistern, another example of a boss that's like just so fun, but it's not necessarily hard, is the Ancient Cistern boss with he has 6 hands, and you use your whip and you pull his hands off, and then you get the sword and you use that against him, and it's like this cool, like, oh, okay, so you get this, you pull this thing off. It just has all these moving pieces, and then when there's more moving pieces to figure out how do I unlock this thing to beat him, it's way more fun to me in a boss fight than. And I'm not saying I don't enjoy the style of Elden Ring, because trust me, I love Elden Ring, and I love fighting Melania, and I love bashing my head into that a million times. Yep. But it's just for a different way or a different take on a boss fight that can still be fun but still be difficult in its own way.
So I have a funny little story about Dark Souls and the FromSoft games. So when I first started streaming, I started as an Animal Crossing / Pokemon streamer, and I really wanted to play Breath of the Wild, and kind of my test to see if I could do it on stream, because a couple years ago I used to get heavily frustrated at games to the point where like I had to like put them down. Like I would rage quit so bad.
Okay.
But my mission and kind of test to see if I could play Breath of the Wild was to beat the tutorial boss in Dark Souls 3. And if I could beat the tutorial boss and allow myself the patience to beat it, then I knew I would be able to have the patience to not get super frustrated and rage quit at Breath of the Wild.
Hell yeah. That's wild that you chose Dark Souls to be a test for Breath of the Wild. Yeah. If you can do anything in Dark Souls, then you can definitely beat the entirety of Breath of the Wild.
Well, and that was kind of the thing. It was like, okay, can I do this? If yes, then I will have a great time playing this game.
Really? Oh yeah, 1000%. So let's talk about some of our favorite characters. Obviously, number one comes to mind, Midna.
Midna,
You love Midna.
mother.
Midna's great.
Mother.
Midna. Oh yeah, she's
mother,
mommy Midna.
Mother Midna. Yep, mommy her. I just love how sassy she is. She just has so much more personality. I think she has the most personality of any like partner character that you get in the entire series.
Right. And when she breaks that mirror at the end, I'm like, you bitch! I love you. I know you. I
know.
I was so heartbroken.
I know.
I was like, no, I'm nenever gonna see you again.
Yep.
Let's just make another one really quickly. Make another mirror.
I know, right?
Hurry, get the pieces.
I don't care. I don't care if Zant comes back. I just want you. Come back to me, please.
Gant just snaps his neck.
My god, exactly. That was insane.
Yeah, you could. That's like when he like becomes like kind of good because he realized he was just using. He's like, you know what? Fuck you, Ganondorf. Like I am for my people. Maybe I was misguided, and you know that's maybe like a little bit of a redemption for him. So that's why Zant is probably one of my favorites in this game. And
I thought the boss fight with him was a little overwhelming because I thought he was the big bad of the game. I didn't think Ganon was like in the game at all, and then Ganon. I mean, I think it's cool.
Yeah, sorry, keep going.
I think it's cool that Ganondorf like shows up at the end, and it's like, oh, okay, so the Ganondorf is the big bad. But I think like Zant was built up so much
early in the game.
That's true. They do. You're right.
Like behind the scenes.
Yeah, I just think they built Zant up so much, and then his final boss fight isn't. I don't know. At least to me, it's not very memorable off the top of my head. I think he's a cool character overall, but I think he could have been a little cooler.
No, I totally
forgot Zant existed.
I know. Sometimes I forget, and I'm like, oh, because he's such a cool character, but I'm like, I still forget because I'm like,
Yeah.
He's definitely a lot goofier than I thought he was going to be.
Yes,
just on like how they built him up. They built him up to be this kind of tyrant, rageful.
Yeah.
Like doesn't give a shit about anyone character, and then he's really just this like goofy little boy.
Yep.
I think they were trying to go for like a Joker vibe with him.
Yeah.
They just kind of missed the mark with it, to be honest. Like it did, because he didn't have the intimidation factor of the Joker. He just so it came off more silly than it did like insane. So that's the only complaint I have.
He came off as like a spoiled little brat.
Yeah,
really.
exactly. That's exactly the vibe I get from him. Some other cool characters like the clown guy. I love the clown guy that works the cannon. He's so ugly and wonderful. I also love.
He's such a sad little man.
I know. I'm like, dude's been working this shift way too long. I like the bug girl a lot. The bug girl's like so creepy.
Agatha's so cute. I'm obsessed with her. Her little house is so beautiful. And when you collect, like the more bugs that you collect, it's just like it's so much fun every time you go back and you see all the little bugs flying around, and they're in this big beautiful tree, and there's like glass windows everywhere, and it's so pretty.
Yeah, 100%.
I always had a soft spot for Ilya because I mean, she's like, you know, just like this pretty, she's kind of like the maybe the love interest, or like, you know, one of like your best friends or whatever.
No, you're that's 100% the love interest. Yeah.
And you know, like she obviously cared so much about you and Epona, of course. That's why, you know, she gets really mad when Epona has a little scratch or whatever, or hurt her ankle or something. You've been pushing her too hard, haven't you? And then one character I never thought I would actually like as much as I did was it Telma? Telma's bar. She was.
I love Telma.
She's so strange, and she's like She's like that. She's like that aunt that is very, you know, like, oh honey, oh, you know, oh honey, oh Gabe, come here, Gabe, oh, you know, kind of like the wine aunt, but also loves you, but then it is like blowing you kisses, and you're like, what?
Oh yes,
what is going on?
I love her. She's like, she's like your. She's got a lot of sass to her, but she doesn't take shit. I love her. Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, she's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
little 100%. Kids though. Those little kids are annoying. God, like
the kids are a bit annoying.
Can I have you one sword? Can you give me the fucking the slingshot?
My least favorite part with the kids is in the beginning of the game, where when you get the wooden sword, and the game is teaching you how to do the sword gameplay, and then you have the option, they're asking to hold the sword or something, and you have the option to say yes or no. And if you say no, you can't progress in the story, and it's so annoying.
So lame. Yeah, it's like giving a
you
gun
have
to a
say
child.
yes and be like, here's
give
this
us the
sword to a little
option.
5-year-old kid.
Yeah,
I never
exactly.
understood that in games when they like give you an option and then it's like if you say the wrong one, it just doesn't. And I'm like, okay, then don't.
Yeah.
That's just pointless.
Don't
I mean, I
give me
get it. Like a
choice,
funny
yeah.
line. Or, yeah.
Right, like if you're gonna give me the choice, like it's a choose your own adventure game, let me choose my own adventure.
And
Yeah.
wait, can we talk about the fishing hole for a second? Remember in the little game inside the fishing hole? You know, the
Yes.
marble game and the fishing, the music, and that pretty lady
I don't
on
remember
the
that.
stage.
The
She's
fishing
just
hole
such a
is so
sweetheart.
Pretty.
She's so pretty. She's just a sweetheart, and I just want to hug her. Like, give me a hug, please. Like,
It's
whatever.
definitely kind of hidden. You wouldn't really expect to find it unless you're either exploring purposefully or you know where to find it.
Exactly. It is one of the just
it is a
completely
little-
optional thing. And you get a heart piece in it, and I never
it's,
did get the biggest fish though.
It's in that area where when you're
It's
in the
upper
Twilight Realm and you're
Zora
and you're
River.
yeah, and
Yeah.
you're like you're doing the Twilight Realm thing where you're flying through that cave. It's in that
yep.
area, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So because you
also-
have Lake Hylia, and then you go up the waterfall through the cave to upper Zora River, and then you go up again to the Zora's domain.
Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of the Twilight Realm, let's talk about that for a second. One of the worst parts of the game, the Twilight Realm, where you have to go to each area. Every time you come to a new area to free it from the Twilight, you have to go in and you have to basically hunt down all these tiers or
Austin, your voice.
whatever.
I'm so sorry. Your voice is kind of getting like
Oh, it's doing that thing in
like
Discord.
staticky,
Okay.
robot-y
Yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah, I got you. Give me a second.
There you go. I can.
But
talk
yeah,
and-
Gabe, talk about the Twilight Realm.
Okay, here, Kai, I'm sure. I mean, well, Fuse, did you ever play the Twilight Realm as well?
I
Or
mean,
do
I
that
can
part?
talk about it a little bit.
I
gotcha.
never got past prison because then I gave up on
Prison.
the game because I just hated it.
I gotcha. So yeah, Kai,
Yeah,
basically.
so-
The tiers that I mean it was the quality of life update in the Wii U version is they reduced the amount of tiers you can do, which I mean I was always
Did
cool
they
with the
really?
tiers.
I didn't
They did.
think they did.
I thought it was or I don't know if it was necessarily half, but there was a fewer or oh my god, I can't think of the wording right now, but there were not as many in the Wii U version as there were in the original. There were still, several to get, if not, like a handful or a dozen or whatever, but yeah, I mean, what are like your favorite? I think the vibes in the Twilight Realm, the music, just kind of that weird loneliness, while also feeling like there's just definitely monsters and spirits around you.
Yeah, I think the ominous feeling that you get whenever you enter the Twilight Realm, and then seeing the spirits of the people who don't understand what's going on because they can see all of the monsters.
Yeah.
And they don't really know what's going on, and so you're kind of watching them. You're almost watching them as if you're watching them on like a television.
Yeah. It's a weird
and
disconnect.
They don't see you, which is
Right.
also
Yeah.
really interesting. But yeah,
Like when you kill a bug and
each section
they're like,
at the beginning, at the first half of the game, you have to go into the Twilight Realm, collect tears into these vessels. Each of the like three, I think they're gods or spirits, but there's
yeah.
like three of them, and you have to collect all of the tears to then help bring light back to their realm.
right. You're like purifying it,
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
So,
awesome. Your voice
I
sounds
just-
better.
Yeah, I just Googled it. There are slightly less tiers from the GameCube version, and Kat, probably the reason why you don't think there's any different version, because apparently in the Wii version they made it less tiers. So it's the
Okay.
same
really?
as the Wii
That makes
version,
sense.
but
Yeah.
the GameCube version it's different. So that's why we have a difference in opinions here, because there is a difference.
Tears.
We're both
Tears
right.
of the Kingdom.
They are tiers. Yep, they are tiers. So yeah, you collect those to free the realm. It's really weird. Totally agree. Definitely one of the weaker parts of the game. It's one of those things where I wish they only did it like the 3 times for like the 3 main areas and then it was done. But you do it like so many times throughout the game that you're just like, okay. Especially when you do it in the Lake Hylia. Oh my god, that's like painful.
Yeah.
It's like pulling teeth, man. It's so not fun.
You have to keep going through loading screens for that one. Yeah,
and having to swim as Wolf Link it's already a bitch enough to swim as regular Link, and then swimming as Wolf Link is like the worst.
Yeah.
Swimming as Wolf Link, you're literally just like...
Yeah, I know, you're literally doggy paddling around. He's like, please save me. Help.
He's like half drowning the entire time.
You know what I wish Minna did? I wish she would have just completely gotten rid of the shackles. Why did she disconnect it by one of the chain parts? Just because you have to listen to that.
Because it's hot.
Oh,
like as you're running. Yeah.
It does go away at some point. I think when Minna like gets yeeted, there's like a point where Minna's like almost like about to die, which is that music during that section. Can we please listen to that? That's such a good track. That's such a good track. Yeah, like Minna's, what is that called? Minna's Lament. That's it, yeah. I almost said Delight. I was like, it's definitely not Delight.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But speaking of music, let's go ahead and listen to that, Gabe. Let's get to it.
La musica.
So yeah, we just in this part we're just gonna watch Gabe's stream, and we're gonna enjoy some music for the next like 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay.
If you guys have any tracks, share them in the music. Right now I have a few hundred.
Okay,
that's what it feels like.
And audio, desktop audio now.
Cool. Okay, perfect. So this is Farron Woods. I figured this would be a great one to start. Obviously, beginning of the adventure. Farron Woods. If you are having an anxiety attack, this is one of the best songs ever.
Yeah.
It's so just calming, acoustic, chill. You're sitting in the woods.
It's so chill. I could take a nap right now.
Right. 2 p.m. afternoon, little siesta. You know, you just had a big lunch and you're having a food coma. Just pass out. I love that back then.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah, the main.
Yeah, no, we'll take care of the rest, bud.
Thanks.
See, this is one of the things I liked about the game was the music. Like
the music in this game,
the score is incredible.
Yeah.
It's so good. Yeah, they went a more realistic route with everything in this game because of the backlash they got with Wind Waker, which is undeserved, but that was
I agree,
that was like the fans were craving one thing and then they got another thing, but the thing that they got was still amazing. They just wanted something different.
Right.
I feel like so often chibi games get stepped on to the point where I think it's undeserved.
No, I agree. 100%. I feel like because they have that cartoonish kid look, like it doesn't mean that it can't be difficult or it can't be serious or it can't. I don't know.
Right,
it's
exactly.
Still, it's just an art style.
One of the greatest examples of that, I think, is Cuphead.
Yeah, 1,000%. Yeah,
Cuphead.
And Cuphead's like very adult too. Like it has like adult themes, right? Like it makes jokes like that about like gambling and drinking and stuff.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Well, that's kind of how the cartoons of that time period that they're pulling from were like as well.
Yeah, exactly. They're a lot more adult. All right. So the next one we have here is Hyrule Fields. Ooh.
So this is the main theme from the main field theme.
That's a good one.
This is one of my most favorite iterations of Hyrule Field because it's really big and there was a lot of like backlash, like, oh, it's empty. And I'm like, okay, well, sometimes, you know, you aren't going to have a million things to do in everywhere. Like, you know, it goes back to that immersive. It is a field, exactly. And immerse yourself.
It's a field. What do they expect?
And it's not like it takes that long. I mean, yeah, when you're running on foot before you get Epona, it is, you know, it takes a little while, but you know,
just the Master Sword buried in the field, man. Come on.
Jump in that tree, bro.
It's always there.
But this theme is epic.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Awesome.
No, go for it.
You go for it.
You go for it.
Literally so epic, bro. Just instant. Just adventurous, epic. Journey finally begins. Success is near.
I love it. It's so good.
This is the Uno reverse comeback win right here, dude.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
The makes it super heroic.
Oh yeah, the trumpet.
Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald trumpets.
Anyways, yeah. So yeah, great theme. I also is there a theme? Isn't there one that plays when you're like you're doing all the fights on your horseback? Which I did like that part of the game. It got a little tedious when you're doing the one where the cart's on fire, But when you're doing the fights on horseback, it's always really fun.
I swear I was so much better at that fight when I was younger, but nowadays when I do it, I'm just like always catching on fire, and I don't know why, even though I have that shit down.
The cart sequence called
Yeah.
every single time.
Cart sequence sucks, but the fighting on horseback, especially when you're on the bridge and you're dueling that one guy.
Yeah, when you're fighting
whatever the fuck those things are.
Or whatever.
Yeah. He's such an interesting character too, because he is bad, but he's not pure evil. He's just kind of like a crook.
I love his character development after the desert.
Yeah.
He switches, and what he says is. Am I allowed to spoil?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, go for it.
That's the whole point of this.
Okay, so he switches mindsets, and essentially is like, okay, well you're stronger than my boss, aka Ganon.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm gonna be on your side now.
Exactly.
And I think that is such an interesting and pivotal point of the game.
Yeah.
I do love that. I think that was like a really cool, like, he's like, oh, I have respect for you now after the whole game of like being your like kind of rival antagonist type thing. I was like, oh, that's really unique. You don't really see like the lowling enemies do that ever in a Zelda game.
Right.
And that was that's such a cool like little detail that they put in this one. Okay. Gabe, what else you got for us?
Sorry, excuse me. Oh my god.
You're good.
I keep hiccuping, and I just had some coffee, and I'm like,
he's a hiccupy boy.
Hiccupy. Hiccupy, grossy burpy. So Lake Hylia. Love Lake Hylia. This is another like, I always think of just like 2007, 2008, me and David playing this game in the basement at mom and dad's, you know, like we're both taking turns. I like watching him play games. He likes watching me play games, and like just we're at peace at Lake Hylia. Maybe I'm on my DS while he's playing this game. Maybe it's later in life and like we both have TVs down there because I brought mine from upstairs downstairs, and there's two TVs next to it. He's playing Zelda, I'm playing Zelda or Metroid or whatever. But Lake Hylia, gorgeous theme. You are by the seaside or lakeside, I guess. And it's just it's a relaxing sunny day. Take a day off from work and just relax by the water, get a sunburn. There's this energy to it, but there's also a relaxing, like the slow acoustic, but then like the powerful strings. It's kind of like a Zelda or like a Halo song almost with all those strings.
It's so pretty. It's so pretty. I love it.
I love the difference between this theme and Hyrule Field.
Yeah. It's so peaceful. This has Zora domain vibes, but it's not quite there, and that's what I love about it. It has like the, like this.
It has Zora undertones.
Yes, exactly.
It's still like kind of the sound of the, I guess it would be a lute, maybe.
Yeah. That's what it sounds like.
Played adds in the like Hylian aspects of the area.
Yeah,
it's like a meeting ground between the fish people and the ground people.
The ground.
And I love the I don't know what the technical term is, but like the under melody with the strings. It sounds like waves. Like it goes up. And then
I feel it. Yeah. Like a nice
beautiful
current and flow going with it.
Hell yeah. All right, Gerudo Desert. I see it up there. Give it to me.
I love Gerudo Desert's theme in this. It's honestly, I like it more than Ocarina of Time's. I know that's everybody Ocarina is everybody's favorite. I understand that, but I'm sorry. This Gerudo theme it's a little bit more menacing sounding, but it still sounds like a desert, and it's so just catchy, and it sounds a lot more like deserty as well, like Middle Eastern kind of, like deserty.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Out in the scorching sun.
Yeah,
Prince of Persia. Yeah, perfect. Yeah. Oh, you have the main theme, of course.
Love that.
And the thing is, with Gerudo Desert, after you beat Arbiter's Grounds, you go upstairs after the boss, and that's where the mirror is. So
the Mirror of Twilight.
Yeah, exactly, the Mirror of Twilight, and that's like the big, like God part of the game. And so like kind of these vocals in the background sounding like like divine vocals, church vocals, whatever you want to say. It's
like
leading up to like choir. Yeah, you're leading up to a very important part of the game. It feels right.
Yeah.
I think the fact that they do one vowel sound, it seemed very ghost-like.
Yeah, I like that.
The theme of Arbiter's Grounds is to be this kind of undead, old prison, abandoned.
100%.
I always forgot. Yeah, Arbiter's Grounds was literally that was the prison, right? For like
it's the abandoned prison.
Yep.
Of like the Hylia's like worst and biggest, baddest enemies.
It's their Alcatraz or whatever.
Yeah.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's why. That's
like scary. The Twilight realm, right there, the mirror. That's where they would see. Yeah, that's where they sent the worst criminals, and then they became the Twilight, the Twilight, whatever they're.
The Twilight.
Yeah, the Twilight. Yeah. That was that's kind of scary to think that.
It's such cool lore. I love it.
Right.
I love this game.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, there you go. Desert. We love desert.
Twilight. Speaking of the Twilight realm.
So this, I don't know. This title, I'm pretty sure is a little incorrect. This is the Twilight realm. It has the Twilight realm theme in it, but this is the palace music because the palace music has the kind of that dollhouse. You'll hear it in a second. This is the but great song. Kind of like that music box sound, anything kind of like a Silent Hill-esque.
Yeah, the music, the creepiness vibe that they have in this game is awesome. I love it.
Yeah. Ooh, and that kind of like those lamentations in the background.
It's great.
I love the piano. That just keeps going.
This little tiptoe that sounds like
it's Exorcist.
Yeah. Piano that just feels like it's going up for forever and it never gets there. Yeah, it's a great sound. I love that. It reminds me of if you guys played Mario 64, when you go up the infinite staircase in Mario 64 and it never gets to the top. Mario 64 is like creepy in a lot of ways that it shouldn't be, but it really I think it's because the way the game, I mean, we'll talk about this in the episode, but the way the game is where, a lot of stuff feels like a liminal space because the castle's so empty and doesn't have any life in it because of like because of the power. The real life reason was the power of the N64 couldn't like render a bunch of people walking around and whatever. So it's just an empty castle, and then you're moving through it to go into like each level, and each level has stuff in it that feels alive and well, but not the castle itself. For the in-game reason, everyone was stolen away by Bowser, air quotes, and so that was like the reasoning. But it's still like certain areas just have like a really creepy vibe to it, and you're just like, what's going on here? I feel like there should be something here, but there isn't, kind of vibe. And I don't know that spaces. It reminds me a lot of this, like a lot of Mario 64, like especially as you get further, like in the basement and like on the roof. It feels a lot very liminal spaces. Cool.
And the polygons honestly don't really help with. I mean, they help with
the
that
polygonal look.
Feeling, the polygonal look is very unsettling.
It reminds me of a Scooby Doo.
Yeah,
Scooby Booby Doo.
Scooby Booby Doo. That's wild.
I thought I was so funny saying that.
All right, I'm gonna cry here in a minute. This is such a good song. This is
right after the Lake Bed Temple when Midna gets fucked up by Zant, and you're like, no. She's like pale, like the Twilight people. They have like that black green kind of like ghastly glow to them. But then all of a sudden, she's been like really hurt by like mortally wounded.
Burned.
Yeah, she's been burned. Yeah, from the light because Zant used the power of I think the Lake Hylia spirit.
Yes.
Just shining like it's like just pouring bleach on her basically.
Yeah.
And so she's like burned and been like corrupted by light and all that. So. This is Midna's lament,
and you feel though like it's
the
sad.
Urgency,
it's sad, and you're like, oh fuck, it's desperate, and you feel that like I need to save this person. I need to find a way to save this person, and it's like I don't care what happens to me, even if I get oh my god, this entire thing communicates that so well.
Remember in Castletown when it's nighttime when you're doing this and you talk to the cat and the cat is like, I don't know, and then Midna's like, please, Princess Zelda or something like that, and the cat kind of looks away and then looks back at you and is like, here, take this path right here or whatever.
Yeah.
You take like the waterways through.
And it's raining the entire time.
Yep. The rain really adds to it in the game. Oh, it's so good.
and then you get near an enemy and the theme disappears and it's just the enemy theme. I think that happened in the older versions. I think in the HD version, the theme stays.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, thankfully.
But so good though.
And then one of the saddest parts about the song is once you finally get Midna up to where she needs to go up in the castle where Princess Zelda can heal her, Princess Zelda gives up herself for a certain amount of time, you know, and you're like, ah! And Midna's like, that's when Midna is very humbled by like the Hylians, and she's like, okay, you know what? The Twilight Realm, as much as I love it, like Hylia or the Hylians deserve to have their own land, you know, like.
Well, the whole thing with the Twilight and the Hylians is that the Twilight were essentially banished by the Hylians, so Midna doesn't trust them as like a foundational level, doesn't believe them to be a generous, kind people. And then the fact that Zelda, in this moment, sacrificed herself, and then also Link along the same lines is bringing her to Zelda in order to save her, kind of realizes like, oh, you know, perhaps times have changed. Perhaps people have, and they've realized that oppression is not the answer.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, no.
They realize.
Why do these skeletons got dicks on their foreheads?
Yeah, they really do. They
I'm sorry. I was looking at it like, wait, what the hell? Because I never got to that part. I was like, wait, what's going on with this?
For everybody at home, audio listeners, love you to death. We were looking at a video and they had like fan art or something in there, and the skeletons look like they had pee-pees in their head.
It's supposed to be like the helmets that they wear.
Yeah, it like fused with their skull.
The shading in that art does not do it any justice.
Yeah, for sure.
It looks like this like just right there. Just,
I mean, I don't know about you, Fuse, but I feel like when I'm dead, I still want to get off.
Yeah. True. Valid. All right, give me the Mallow Mart. Give me. I thought it said Mario Mart. I won't lie.
Where's a Mario Mart? Where's a Mario Mart?
I know, right?
Where's Coconut Mall, man?
Is the weirdest character in this game. He's so obnoxious and he's such a little shithead, but you also love him.
He looks like Hasbulla. He is Hasbulla. How old is
Mallow,
he
does have Hasbulla vibes. He 1000%.
Mallow, I think, is supposed to be like
8, 6.
I think he's supposed to be like 4 to 6.
Yeah, and he's just like this. He is just
baby.
Capitalism, or I don't know if he's
he's a boss baby.
I imagine he has like a really deep voice when he's like, "Hey, how you doing?"
Hey, what up, bitchy? I'm 4 years old. Yeah. He's like, it's like Purra. Oh my God, Purra. Maybe Mallow is Purra's like ancestor. Oh no.
Anyways,
but
I'll be right back.
All right, take your time.
Love.
Give it to
giving
me.
you guys whiplash.
Wait,
so we
this
just
is the theme? I didn't know that's what this was from. That's so funny.
That's right. This is the meme song.
Yeah,
go
for it. Yeah.
Knows. Getting some major whiplash.
I forgot that's
going
what this was
Midna.
from. That's wild to me.
This is when you finally did the Mallow Mart side quest, and you can buy that horrible rupee
okay.
armor.
I was like, I didn't know that was from. This was the Mallow Mart. Like, okay.
That's when he moves into Town. And then he has like dancers.
And there's,
So
the
funny.
dancers. They're all doing the.
They're like,
They're like,
yeah, they're like,
that one. And then there's also Breath of the Wild art in there. I think there's like a green, luscious green hill.
oh, that's
texture.
awesome.
In the HD version, I should say.
Yeah, I was gonna say that probably would be an HD remake edition.
But yeah, fun song. It's obviously very goofy, and it's just, you know.
Last one.
I figured I would do the Hyrule. God, there's so many themes, like just even like
yeah.
I wanted to do like Ganondorf's theme and all that, but I mean, there's so much music in this game, and
Yeah.
but this is
we
Hyrule.
have to play the opening theme.
Yeah, we'll do the opening.
Oh,
Okay.
we'll do opening for sure. Yeah. So this is Hyrule Castle theme. It has 3 parts. I'll kind of skip through it, but I wanted to start with the first part because it's very haunting end of journey. You know, like bad boys at the end, but it still feels empty. You know, an empty castle. Where is everyone?
Yeah, this has it has motifs of the one we played, the Gerudo Desert theme.
Oh, does it really?
It has that. I hear that motif. Yeah. Da, 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 da. I don't know I hear that here as well. It wasn't that in that is that the right theme I'm thinking of? Maybe not. But anyways.
Oh.
Yeah, boom, 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 boom. I don't know. Anyways.
So it kind of it gets this like like this bassy trumpety whatever. I don't know what instrument that is, but
it feels very Game of Thronesy, Red Wedding.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It has that vibe to it. Like it's like sinister but very medieval. That's the vibe I'm getting from this.
One of those classic like the more you're progressing, the more like it evolves into like a it just keeps going crescendoing, whatever you want to say. And then this is as you're ascending the stairs. I always think of the top part. You're the one you get from Arbiter's Grounds, the top. Yeah. As you're ascending up through that, I think this is kind of where like the theme starts.
The Beyblade.
The Beyblade, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then you have the trumpets.
Theme. Yep.
Let it rip. Yeah, it's like building. I like how it builds on itself as you move through the castle. That's so cool.
Right. I still remember that one part of the castle where you have to use Wolf Link to jump through spaces because like the night ghosts will just like point. They'll just be like this where you need to go.
Yes, because in that room they have the rat. The fucking rats. I hate the rats.
The rats.
Oh my god, they're so annoying.
Rats. We are the rats.
Shit.
We are our birthday bash. Michael, it's your birthday today.
Cake and ice cream is on its way.
Right. I love that. That's a good one.
But yeah, let's do. Is it the opening
main
theme?
Yeah.
Yes.
Main theme.
Yeah.
Main theme or
opening theme is right.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
It's in the title screen.
Yeah, it's this one. Oh, and it has wolf like one. Oh.
I love the title sequence.
Me too. It's so much fun.
Hey, get him, Epona. Oh, this bridge is such a cool view.
Is that that's the Elden Bridge? Yeah.
Yeah.
I always thought that squeaking with like the saddle on your horse and all that kind of you hear.
Yeah.
I was like, what is that? Growing up, I thought it was like a puppy or something. I was like, where's a puppy? I was like a puppy. I love this warm because that's like a twilight glow.
Yeah.
Going on. You can see that, but it's... Oh god, Link, you are very close. Don't do it.
He's so close to the edge. That always did freak me out a little bit. I'm like, why is he on the edge so?
The entire field chooses 2 inches away from the cliff.
Yeah.
His intrusive thoughts, man. Pushing him. He's like, I wonder what's down there. Oh, there's a hard piece up there on that cliff right there.
Oh, and the wolf. I love it.
That is so cool.
Good.
So when this happened, I thought he fused with the horse and it was an Abomination Chimera thing.
Oh.
I was like, where?
Oh, Druck. Hell yeah, Drucky. What does Drucky mean right
Apparently we're playing the German version of the game in this.
We are.
Yeah.
I would honestly just let this title sequence play over and over and over and just sit there.
Oh yeah.
Oh god, I can't fucking speak right now. The fucking caffeine is hitting me.
That's okay.
I put a little Jameson in that coffee.
Does it keep going into something else? Oh yeah, it goes. Keep going. Let it keep going. Or is this just the opening cutscene?
I think it's like cuts. Oh yeah, so there's Zant right there.
Zant taking over the castle.
Looking thing.
Who
is that?
Who is that?
Who is that?
Okay, can we talk about how? Okay, I think this is definitely the hottest version of Zelda. I'll keep it real with y'all. This version of Zelda is
incredible.
Bad.
She's beautiful.
Yeah.
She's a baby.
Yeah, she is absolutely.
Like, look at the Zelda from this one, then look at the Zelda from like Tears of the Kingdom, and I'm like,
Tears of the Kingdom Zelda has like a homely vibe to her. She's like cute. She's like she's like she's like the nerd girl. She's cute, like nothing. This one, she's just like supermodel status in this one. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she's like, she feels like you're like, whoa, what the fuck? I don't know how else to describe it other than that. But yeah.
I mean, I think the Zelda in this game, she's already super established as a leader.
Yep.
Right.
Whereas Zelda in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, it's kind of
coming of age.
Coming of age.
Yes, exactly. It's a coming of age story.
Yep.
And she's trying to figure out her confidence.
Yep.
As a leader.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
And it's like she has that power. She just needs to find the bridge because you see her at the end of Breath of the Wild hold her hand up and like literally kills the demonic entity. And you just, it's like, how do you? It's like Aang with the Avatar state. He has all the power right there. He just needs to find the way to just get there at will. You know,
just to find a way to streamline it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another cool thing I noticed about Tears of the Kingdom Breath of the Wild, when you open a chest, you know that quick. I feel like, I don't know if it was intentional or not, but it is very close to the kind of the, you know,
I know
this game.
Yeah,
it's very quick, and it might just be a coincidence, but it's well, if you just kind of slowly let it play.
There's no coincidences in fucking
literally,
Zelda, dude. And every game they like call things back and like have small references and stuff like that. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, even obviously we all know
the release of Tears of the Kingdom, there were so many hints at Twilight Princess.
Oh yeah, 100%. All right, well, that's gonna do it for a music showcase. Thank you as always, Gabe, for doing that for me.
Of course.
I appreciate that. All right, well, that's gonna do it for our discussion on Tears of the Kingdom. Let's go. Or Tears of the Kingdom, Jesus Christ, Twilight Princess. Wrong game.
No, we gotta rate the entire thing.
Go ahead and give our ratings. We'll start Kat, end with me. Kat, what do you rate this game out of 10?
It's got to be a 10 out of 10 for me. I can't give it any lower. I really can't.
No, I get that 100%. Gabe, what about you?
So I think 10 out of 10 as well. I mean, I always say, hey, 10 out of 10 doesn't mean it's literally perfect without flaws. Yes, this game has maybe a little bit of pacing issues. Some, like the beginning is a little, it turns people off. I get that. Maybe the Twilight Realm gets a little tedious sometimes, but everything, the visuals, the HD version, that's obviously the definitive version. The music, they touched up the music as well. Just the music, the set pieces, the temples. Even with the temples having their flaws, I think it is one of the greatest Zelda experience. I mean, it is the greatest, in my opinion, Zelda experience, just as an overall adventure. It's just everything comes together. It's a nice, juicy Zelda sandwich, whether you like a hot or a cold sandwich, it has the lettuce, tomato, the mayonnaise, the hot sauce, the chicken, or the, whatever. All right, it's delicious. I know I'm hungry too. I haven't eaten today, so I'm going to be
I haven't eaten today. My energy's like 3%.
Love the game though. I recommend this to any any Zelda fan who hasn't played it, or anybody who's like, what's a good classic Zelda game? This one.
Yeah, I think our views as an outsider looking in, what are your opinions on this game? On last thoughts? Obviously you can't necessarily rate it, but yeah,
I can't give it a gentleman's fair review without beating the game. I have with the previous Zelda games. But as someone that tried from start to the prison sequence, basically the opening sequence of the Zelda game, I was turned off by it. I feel bad because this is my first Zelda experience. It was a rough start for me. And granted, I'm talking about my instances being 13, 14 years old playing this game. But music and stuff was great. I think graphics are great. They're better than Scarlet Violet than what we got from that show.
When that's your bar, when the bar is in literal hell, I mean, it looks amazing.
I'm talking about the GameCube one that I played, dude. What is this? We talk about that all the time. With just that, I'd give it. So if you want to introduce someone to Zelda, I wouldn't recommend this game if I was going to be honest. So I'd probably put it a 7.58, just because like I said, take it with a grain of salt. I haven't played the entire game, so I don't know the entire story besides what we talked about today. But music wise, graphic wise, just the fact that I've seen the end game boss fights, some of them are easy, some of them are pretty decently challenging and have their own nice gimmicks and stuff. But I'd at least put at least a B or a B plus for a game. Yeah, based on solely not playing the game and beating it, that's what I would always give it in generosity. Yeah. So,
no, I disagree with you on the point of it being someone's introductory game. I think it's a great introductory game for somebody who's introduced to the old format of Zelda. When I say the old format of Zelda, I say Ocarina of Time through up to Skyward Sword.
Okay, right.
I think it's probably the peak in reality of those format of games. I think it's everything Ocarina of Time wanted to be. I think it has a great linear story. I think it does a lot of things well. It has amazing set pieces, some of the most memorable dungeons in the entire series. I think it's fantastic. I think it's a solid 9. I give it a 9 out of 10. I think the beginning's very rough, and I think there's some other bits in the game that are rough that kind of bring it down to that 9 level, but otherwise it's fantastic. It's got amazing music, amazing set pieces, memorable characters. I mean, it's such a different art style, such a different take on the Zelda story. Yeah, I think it's fantastic, and definitely go play it, gamers. Go play the Wii U version.
And you viewers and you listeners, tell us what do you think about Twilight Princess? Kind of. Yeah. It's one of those games that people are either they love it or you hear a lot of flack about it. So I love listening to people's different opinions about it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Comment below what you
exactly.
Think. Yeah.
If you agree that this should be a great starting point for a Zelda game, please let us know. Or if you have a different suggestion of what you would like to introduce someone to the Zelda series, please also let us know in the comments. For sure.
Zelda is one of those franchises where they're good at doing a lot of different sub-Zelda genres is what I'll say, because Skyward Sword being a very linear, different from Breath of the Wild, while they both do what they do great, it can really be is the word divisive, or is that what it is, divisive? Is that what I'm thinking of?
Diversified.
Controversial. Sorry, I'm yawning.
No, you're good. But they're great at doing that stuff. Yes, I have. I'm not the biggest fan of a completely linear Zelda game, but I still enjoyed Skyward, as you guys remember, and all that. But so.
All right, well, that's going to do it for us here on the Boost Feed podcast. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and like we said at the beginning of the video, if we get over 20 likes, someone who commented below will get a $10 gift card to Nintendo.
And McChickens.
And McChickens. So, Kat, where can they find you on the internet?
You guys can find me at twitch.tv/sillylittlecat. I also have an Instagram and a Twitter by the same name. Those are the best places to keep up with me, although I am on a hiatus at the moment, but I plan on returning soon.
Woo! She's coming back, baby. She's coming back to Twitch.
The comeback of the century.
Hell yeah. Well, on that note, do we have any last nickels, boys? Did he get to tell the audience?
Oh, I feel like I gotta show off my sweatshirt.
Oh yeah, show it off.
Just once for people.
Yeah. Oh, I love that thing.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Are you team Spied Ops or Annihilate, Kat? We have to ask every new guest this. Are you team Spied Ops or Annihilate? If you had to choose
one right question.
If you had to choose between the two Pokemon.
To have for a team, what would you pick?
No, that's not. Oh no, that's too easy. That's too easy.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, wait. What? Another cutscene in this game.
Who did you say? You said Annihilate, right? Okay, she's team Annihilate. Another L. Dang.
There was one more thing. Do you guys remember the cutscene in this game where Link, he is running through the dark and he is trying to get the Triforce, and then he's there's a dark Link or something.
Oh yeah, there's the evil Link with no eyes. Oh my god,
it's so weird.
Terrifying.
Oh my god,
terrifying.
The dream sequence is insane. Weird. That's when he meets the sages, I think.
Yep.
That's crazy.
All right, well, that's going to do it for us here on the Boost With You podcast. Again, like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. If you're on Spotify, rate us 5 out of 5 or whatever podcasting app you're listening to us on. And next time we'll be talking about The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, my least favorite, but, it is what it is. We're going to have a great time talking about that.
We're making some wins.
Woo! We're going to go sailing. I love sailing. All right, guys. See you later. Bye.
Bye. I love you. Spider.
Bye.